Hey there, viewers! A Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Henkei Ramjet. Now, seeing as how Ramjet was in the Classics line, it makes sense that this is one of the first Henkei figures. I think this is like, what, first or second wave of Henkei? So, yeah. Now, starting off with the box. Ignoring the glare there, I think it's from the light. In fact, yeah, we can see that this is an earlier Henkei figure, because instead of the cool, art, well, instead of the cool, box art, we just have a picture of Ramjet right there, the actual figure. But we can see that he's number D04, so, yeah, I think this is the first wave. Bunch of text in Japanese. Of course, the really cool Transformers logo just embossed right there. It says Transformers in the inner packaging there. Transformers, Deathstrong, because of course that's the Japanese name for the Decepticons. Got the logo right there, it's Karatomi. The back, of course, got him transforming. Got all the features, so I guess the nose cone, the chrome wings there, and the firing missiles. Got the little text spec right there. And we've got the other figures which are available at the time, so essentially most of the Classics toy line. So yeah. And in fact, looking at the bottom, we can actually see the Classics logo. So yeah. That's pretty much it for the box. And not forgetting this time, of course, we've got the card, which is, again, really cool. Because, of course, this side we've got robot mode. Other side we've got jet mode. Presumably a bio of this guy. And, of course, all his stats. And, of course, we've got the booklet. Which, my one came all folded, but this one has Starscream and Jetfire with Ramjet just photobombing. So we got all that. And yeah, Classics Jetfire essentially did the whole Macross armor thing before the Siege figure did, which is pretty cool. I think this is just the whole Starscream Jetfire falling out squabble thing, because they used to be friends and all that crap. But of course we've got cross out for Jetfire and Ramjet. Not really paid attention to the Jetfire toys. I'll probably try and get that one day. But of course, we've got the back. Got previews for Sideswipe or maybe Sunstreaker. And I want to say that's either Prowl or Blue Streak. So yeah. Now moving on to the figure. Of course, this is Classics Ramjet, just now done up in a more accurate color scheme. And honestly, I quite like how this looks. Mainly because, of course, we do have a bit of chrome here, namely on the tail fins. Although, as I've said before, this could ship over time, so just be careful on that. But of course, we've got the... I'm not sure what style of wings you call this, swept back, I guess. But anyway, looking at the nose cone. Well, it's kind of stubby, and that's just because the nose cone is actually retooled to transform differently from Starscream, which we'll see later. But we can see that the friggin' seats inside are chrome. That's pretty cool. But we do have a little Decepticon symbol there on the nose cone. Cockpit is clear so you can see the seats, which, as I said, they're chrome, which is really cool. Of course, with the main body in that creamy color. The wings, which look really nice. And honestly, like, the Classics ones are cool with the black with the red accent things, but this is more accurate. But, of course, that's really up to, like, preference and all that. But one thing I kind of want to compare it to is the Earthrise version, which we will do later, because this is a much brighter red than the Earthrise Ramjet. But of course, with the Decepticon symbols right there. Got the little landing gear, because of course, the classic Seeker mold did kind of have landing gear, but it was just folded out from their freaking tits. Of course, I've already got the null race attached on because it's a Seeker. It's required by law that they always have the null rays on. And well, looking at these null rays, well, the actual like gun section is essentially the same as classic Starscream, but it's got a new missile. And how does it fire? Really well. I can't even see where that landed. Like, that actually fired really well. So, yeah. This fires extremely well. Here's hoping this doesn't fall off the table again. That went and hide in my freaking, like, background, like, there. So, that is a really strong spring. Like, that has the potential of actually shooting someone's eye out, so... Yeah, you can see what I don't, like, do missile launches anymore. In fact, hang on. Here's the actual missile, and here it kind of looks like a popsicle or something. But we can see that the actual, like, missile thing is red, and this part's just painted. And yeah, I'm fairly certain that Starscream's missiles can also go in here. It's like the same thing. Yeah, it's the same, missile launcher itself is the same thing. It's just, it's a different missile. But hey, it's pretty clever because it does change how the gun looks. Now, looking at the underside, we can, yeah, that's how a Seeker, that's how the bottom of a Seeker normally looks, but we can even see his face just right there. Because compared to Earthrise Ramjet, he's literally a cone head. Like, that actually does form his head. So, yeah. And well, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the jet mode. And overall, I quite like it. Like, honestly, my only issues is I'm kind of worried about the longevity of these bits here, but who knows. But anyway, for quick comparisons, here is with my other classic Seeker. Here is with Starscream. This is the Classics version, not the Henkei version, but still. And we can essentially see how they retooled the nose cone. Like on Starscream, it's a lot longer. I kind of prefer how the thing looks on Ramjet. Because here, like, this is a rubbery... This is kind of like rubbery, so it doesn't really heavy, like... But here, it's a lot more blunt, so it looks less painful if you, like, ram it into someone. So yeah, I kind of prefer how the nose cone looks on the cone heads. But we can see that, yeah, wings have been retooled, obviously. Something that they would also do on the Earthrise Seeker molds. And it's done in quite a similar way, too. So, quickly bringing in Earthrise Ramjet, or in this case, the Legacy reissue. Pretty much the same figure. Trying to have the wings straight here, hang on. Like, one immediate thing is, this isn't really laying flat. Like, you can see it's kind of tilting, it's easy to, like, spin this around, whereas here, see how it's got this landing gear, it's a lot, yeah, this isn't really tilting around, which, honestly, I'm glad that we're getting a new Seeker mold, even though this has had quite the usage, although I'm just glad that we're getting a new Seeker mold soon with Thundercracker. But we can see that, yeah, things are kind of similar. It's pretty much an upscale. Although, this Ramjet doesn't have unique null rays, so... yeah, I think I kind of prefer this version, to be honest. And finally, here he is with the Classics version, so you can see how that looks. Because, of course, with Classics, that was essentially trying to modernize how they look, so Ramjet gained some, I guess, additional detailing, like he got some more red on him. There's some gold around the boosters at the back. And, of course, the wings, the red's more like a secondary color to the wings. Whereas of here, it's just full-on G1 Ramjet colors. Oh yeah, there's no, rub sign either, but, eh. So, yeah. And, yeah, I do kind of like the red, like, accent colors on the body of the Classics version, but honestly, I think I prefer the wing color on this guy. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. So moving on to the transformation. Obviously, we've all seen how the classic Seeker mold transforms, so this is going to be rather quick. So, transformation is pretty much the same as like the other classic Seeker figures, but of course, with this being a cone head, he's got unique wings. There are some differences, so I'm just going to try and tilt my camera up. There we go. So I'm just going to start by taking the null rays off. And we'll just set these off to the side. So to start, I'm just going to try and pull out the legs. This is kind of tricky. They're kind of tight on this guy. There we go. Just put the legs. Get the feet down. And unfortunately on this guy, one leg seems to not pull down all the way. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. But anyway, just gonna take the wings, fold these to the back. Take the remaining bits of the wings and just spin them up like so. Take the landing gear and just fold them in to form the little chest turbines. Just open the entire jet like so. Get the arms out. Untap the nose cone like so. Spin all of this around. Push this in. Then take the actual nose cone bit. Spin this around, and that's going to form his head. And we're nearly done. So now we just have to flip around the hands. There we go. And normally I put the accessories on later, but again, Seeker, he needs null rays, so Just attach on the null rays. And there we go. Quick, easy, efficient. Here we have Ramjet in robot mode. And yeah, that's quite the simple transformation. I mean, it's literally been going on from 2006 to this very day. So they've been using this transformation for what? Essentially 20 years now. And it's only just this year they're finally breaking that cycle with a new Seeker mold. But yeah, looking at this figure, well, honestly, I quite like how this looks. We can see that. Seeing how this forms his head, there's no weird, like, nose cone backpack dangling off. Like with Starscream, for example. Or even, well, Earthrise Ramjet. As we can see here, because that's a faux part. So that's one thing I quite like. Back's pretty clean because, in fact, looking at the head, we can see that. Well, it's kind of hard to see the face, but that does look pretty nice. Although there's a bit of a paint chip there on my copy, but oh well. Now, even in this mode, we do get some of the chrome, because it's right there in the little boosters. So, yeah. Now, unfortunately, as I said, on my copy, one of the legs seems to not extend all the way, or one of the feet seems to not go down all the way, which is just really annoying. Although, of course, we do get the null rays, which, as I showed, let's try and get this fine past the camera. Holy shit! Now that fired really, like that. Wow. I think that's one of the most powerful missile launchers I've got in my collection. You know what? Let's try one of Starscream's ones to see if it's got the same, like, range. Okay, so it just... The classic Seekers just have really powerful missile launchers for some godforsaken reason. So yeah, as I said earlier, you can tell why they don't really do missile launchers anymore, because holy crap. Okay, fapping about that, managed to get it back. So yeah, I reckon I can get a couple of minutes of fun just fiddling with the missile launchers. Well, for other stuff, for some reason the wings can, like, swivel, so you could maybe do, like, a surfing mode. I don't know, there's that. Anyway, let's just put in with classic Starscream. Now, it seems like that is a bit of retooling. Like, I want to say the legs might be retooled, kind of. No, I think it's just the paint. Really, the only things that have been retooled are the wings and the head. It's not like the Earthrise figure where the full on, like you can tell, like, this is, like, the kneecaps are different. Here, it's just the wings and the head and the missile, but still, it does help to differentiate him. And if I remember correctly, I think Dirge used this mold. Like, obviously we know Dirge has his own set of wings, but, like, I think it was BotCon. They just literally recolored Ramjet, called it Dirge, and that was it. Of course, Dirge eventually get his own wings, and then we got Frosts. Yeah, trying to get the cone heads during this time was kind of annoying because they were available on BotCon. So if you missed out on BotCon, you probably have to sell your own kidneys to get them. Then I feel like 2010 they finally came out in Generations, and that's like what, 6 years after this guy, I think 4 to 6 years after this guy. So not so different to the Earthrise cone heads, because they were all up in the ass then, but let's not get into that here. But here we have Earthrise, or Legacy Ramjet. And obviously it's based on this guy, but there are some differences. Like obviously the feet are different. He's got these flaps here because the legs transform differently, the arms transform differently. He's now got this on his back. And the wings don't do that weird thing anymore. So it is based upon the Classics mold, just heavily edited. And honestly, I prefer the colors on this guy. Like you can see the red's a lot duller on the Earthrise version. So yeah. And finally, here's Classics Ramjet. And where did all the red go? There's like literally no red on the robot mode. And you know, Ramjet's meant to have the red wings showing. In robot mode, in the Classics version, the wings are just black. Because, as I said, the red's like a secondary color for the wings in the Classics figure. So again, I prefer how this guy looks. So, yeah. But honestly, I do kind of want to get that BotCon Dirge just for the hilarity of a Ramjet in Dirge colors. So, yeah. But finally, how's the articulation? Well, head can go side to side, although it's kind of tight. And it's really up to there. So, yeah, there you go. Arms can move. Although, it's really up to there, because then it bumps into the wing. You can T-pose, although this does get in the way, so you have to either take it off or move it out of the way so he can fully T-pose. Something I've not shown yet is he does have elbows, although seems to either be fully like 90 degrees or just fully down. Waist is nothing. He can kick forward. He can sort of kick back. Can do the splits. Like this leg's kind of floopy, but I'm chalking that down to age. Like this came out like, what, 2008, I think. Anyway, there's a swivel there at the thigh. And he's got a knee, well, like he's got a knee, and the feet can also move up and down. So yeah, pretty decent articulation. I think the Earthrise figure does have a bit more, minus the waist swivel, but yeah, still pretty good posing. And honestly, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about this guy. So, complaints? Really, honestly, I think it's just, I'm kind of scared of how hard he's fire. Like, seriously, these could take someone's eye out. But for actual complaints, well, on my copy, it's really hard to pull these out, so. But honestly, I would say my complaints are pretty much the same as Starscream's. For unique complaints, honestly, I can't really think of any. So, essentially the same as Starscream's. But do I recommend this guy, whether Henkei or Classics? Honestly, yeah, if you're going for like a chug shelf, like early chug, then this guy isn't really too bad to get, because keep in mind, Ramjet was one of the first Classics figures, so... But honestly, if I was to choose one, absolutely Henkei. Just because the Classics one not having the red showing in robot mode is kind of just awkward to me. But that's just my preference. Now, I do really want to get both BotCon Dirge and that Collectors Club G2 Ramjet, but those guys are, I mean, they're BotCon and Collectors Club figures. They're going to be like really hard to find. Although, I mean, I have lucked out and found a Timelines figure recently, so maybe one day. But well, that's probably going to be like well into the future. But anyway, this has been my review on Henkei Ramjet, and this is a Transformers fan signing off.